Let's look at 3 ways you can use FinViz to upgrade the way you research stocks. Welcome back to another video, guys. Today we're going over FinViz, which is my favorite tool to use for stock research. I'm going to show you 3 really key things you can use FinViz for on how to research all different kinds of stocks. You can use penny stocks, dividend stocks, blue chip, any kinds of things. They even have crypto and whatnot. Now, I'm not going to get into the crypto stuff today, but this is how I use FinViz. I've used it for a long time and I really do like it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about just the overall view of the market that FinViz can show you. So right off the bat, this is not their screener, just their homepage. They do have the heat map, which is common. A lot of places do that. And then we're going to go up here onto the screener tab. And this is just their screener of all stocks starting from A all the way down. Now, what I like to do every single day, I look at the top gainers page. Sometimes you will see overlapping stocks that'll have really good multiple days in a row or multiple really bad days in a row. I do this because I like seeing what stocks are moving the most. So we can see a lot of healthcare is on here. That's very common, as you see a lot of smaller, almost penny stock-esque healthcare stocks that get a good FDA approval or good news, all that kind of stuff. When you go to the top losers, I usually don't track these ones as closely. I do want to make sure that none of my stuff is on here. If I am doing like a riskier trade, it can help you and you immediately see, oh no, I have had a stock that was on the top losers page and it is a bummer. I definitely do not like it. Now, when the market's really green, the top gainers are usually really good. On Friday, we had one that was like 250%. And on a bad day, top losers are usually pretty rough. Sometimes these biotech stocks, healthcare stocks can drop 70-80% in a day, and it is really tough. So that's the first thing I like to do is screen all of that. Next, they have so many tools on FinViz, and it is for free, guys. There are other screeners out there that you can use. I think StockCart is the one that one really popular YouTuber uses. Joseph Bowtie guy. He's a really good resource to watch. Joseph Hogue, duh. Yeah, he's great. And so he uses StockCart.io. He shows you how to do this as well, but I wanted to see it on FinViz because I like FinViz just because I'm used to it. Now you can see new high. This is really interesting. So it shows a new record high for the stock itself. Again, usually the market cap for these ones is a lot smaller. We do have some down here where they're in the billions and they've been climbing up and up and up. Now I don't like new high as much to use because typically, oh man, Riot is making bounds. Typically it is risky to buy a stock at the new high, of course. Now, if you look at the new low, usually these ones are pretty destroyed. Sometimes it's a new low on the day. Sometimes they are just slowly falling. But sometimes you can look on here and find some interesting ones. You see a lot of, you start getting familiar with the names that are on these lists pretty commonly. And you can find a lot of good beaten down stocks. Tattooed Chef has been going through the ringer. Definitely. Sometimes I like to research these and see if there's a chance that they bounce back. BDRX. I see a biofarm one. I've looked at this one before. And so you can find a lot of information. Like if we go to BDRX, they do have a lot of info down here. I typically will use Seeking Alpha for a lot of this, but it's nice to have multiple places to check. And that's really important. It shows dividends, employees, all of that. Sometimes the data is missing, as we can see with like insider ownership. They may not have it. They may not have inside owners. But that can be really useful. There's a ton of stuff. If you do day trading or swing trading or chart trading, you can look at the overbought, the oversold. You can look at the universal volume, unusual volume. I don't know why universal popped in my head. Unusual volume for stuff most active, most volatile, what's being traded the most, what's being traded the least. Upgrades. These are all green. It is when a stock is upgraded by a financial analyst, and downgrades, these are a lot of the time red, although not all of them. So sometimes you can see that like JP Morgan was given a downgrade and it still went up, but you can find if something has a downgrade and it hits pretty hard and it oversells, you can get a little bit of that run up before earnings, after earnings, insider buying, insider selling. All of this is really useful if you're looking to buy a stock. And they have support and resistance. Now, for those of you that don't know, looking at resistance, if we're looking at the chart, this is when they're going to hit a resistance point. So sometimes, usually when they sell off a little bit, they'll bounce back to a certain resistance point, and either they'll go up above, which is a bullish sign, or they'll fall down below again, which is a bearish sign, and typically they'll trend down or up based off of that movement. So we can see this one, for example, BALT. I have no idea what this is, Financial Exchange Traded Fund. So they hit resistance. They fell off a little bit. They're bouncing back up to resistance. So if they pass it, it would likely keep going up, and if they fall through, it's going to downtrend potentially. Now, you can't always trust the chart, and this is the opposite support. This is when they fall down and they reach a support line. I like using support a lot more because similar to new high versus new low, when they're reaching support, that's where they're sitting at a lower point. So this is a rough chart, STLK. We can see that they are bouncing on the support range right now. If they fall down that, it's going to continue to downtrend, and if they bounce back up. So if you do like day trade or swing trade and you watch these closely, a lot of people will use support and resistance to trade on the chart. Now, so that's how I just overview. Next thing I want to show you is, let's go to the all descriptive for their filters. Let's look at penny stocks. So actually we'll go to descriptive. So you can look at float, outstanding shares, dividend yield, all of that kind of stuff. But what we want to do is we want to go to market cap. And sometimes it's hard to find because there's just so many options. So market cap, mid, micro, so 30 million to 300 million. We can do micro or nano. We're going to do micro. So this is considered still a penny stock. And now what you're doing is, you see up here I have support still. So now you're looking at just micro cap stocks that are hitting support. So you can do this with new highs, with new lows, with a ton of stuff. So when I'm searching for penny stocks, I don't always use support. Usually you can do most volatile, and we'll see what penny stocks are trading for the most. They're just trading the most on the market in a day. If they've jumped up in volatility, if they've jumped up in total orders, that can be really useful. Most active, same kind of thing. Mullen Automotive. Wow, that is tough. GOEV, this is Canoe. Didn't this one partner with Apple? I'm pretty sure this one was partnered with Apple, or had rumors of partnering with Apple. Workhorse, everyone's favorite. So this is how you can just look over all this information. You can put in ratios, the 20-day moving average. Let's go ahead and do 10. Let's see. Price crossed above the small moving average 20 days. So these two have crossed above. Yep, we can see ALPP had a good day, bounced up a little bit, and Workhorse actually did too. So that's just one way. Look at all of these options you can use on FINVIZ, and it's totally free. I like to use RSI, of course, for penny stocks. You can go all the way to oversold 30. So we have none on the most active list, but overall, none oversold. Oversold 20, oversold 10. Oh, because we have the SMA average on here as well. So oversold 30. Yes. So these are all oversold. Man, this one, I'm looking at BCLI. I've looked at this one before. It's an interesting one. So a lot of these are really oversold. You can see a lot of these will be on the new low list as well. I've looked at DARE. I've looked at FGen. Man, a lot of these are just getting destroyed. So you can also use this as a great opportunity to do research into these penny stocks. Biotech stocks are one of my favorites to actually look at because there's so much that can go wrong with them and so much that can go right. So it is risky, of course, but I love learning this new information. Now let's talk about that final thing. Let's go to dividend stock. So I'm going to clear all of these back. We'll go to any. We are going to go to dividend. I always go to 5% or over. I like higher yielding dividend stocks, even if they are more risky. Now, payout ratio, I have it set to any, but you don't want it. You want it under, if you can get under 40%, but REITs aren't going to be like that. So it kind of cuts. It depends on what kind of dividend stock you're looking for. But let's look at oversold dividends that are 5% over. Over 5%. A lot of these, the dividends will be so high up. I don't think this stock even has a dividend. Maybe it does. FIG, oversold on the RSI, Goro, all of these are oversold and they have a 5% yield plus. Sometimes they're going to be more than that because, as you guys know, corresponding to the price is the dividend yield. So if the price is dropping, the dividend yield goes up because you're getting paid out more. So sometimes you have to manage that. Make sure you note that. You can do 52-week high or low. Let's do new low. Yeah, so all of these have hit a new low, which is a negative, I think, for dividend stocks. Definitely higher risk. But if you're looking for higher risk dividend stocks and you think there could be a bounce, if one sector like banking recently got hit really, really hard, so we can see BKSC has been beaten down for quite a while. and that could be because of the banking. So if you're looking at, oh, this is a really beat down sector, let's find stocks in that sector that are oversold and could bounce back. Now, I'm not saying banking is going to bounce back. You never know, of course, but still, it is important to know. You can look at EPS growth this year, quarter over quarter, which is good. You do want to see, if we go over, so Calm, CALM, hit a new low. Their EPS growth quarter over quarter is over 10%, which is good, and their dividend yield's over 5%. So now I have a stock that matches just my criteria for what I'm looking. CWNA, same thing, really beaten down, but they have 10% EPS growth quarter over quarter. And let's see if any of these are oversold 30 or more. No, they're not oversold in the RSI, but still something to look at. You can do relative volume, see what's trading. That's really good for penny stocks if you think a penny stock's going to do really well. And FINVIZ works pre-market, which is when I think most people use the screener tool. You can look for stocks that have been going crazy in the pre-market and watch what they do when the market opens. If they continue that trend up as everyone's getting into the market as it opens, or if not. With dividend stocks, I like let's do insider ownership. Let's do over 10%. We don't need EPS. We don't need new high, new low. So these are all dividend stocks that have over 10%. Let's do over 40%. All dividend stocks, 5% yield or over. Let's do 70%. We're getting into a little gray area. 70% of insider ownership is kind of crazy. You can forward PE is a good one to look at. Insider transactions, pattern changes, earnings date, current ratio, sales growth quarter over quarter. Let's do positive over 15%. So good sales growth from these companies. They're yielding over 5%. And so I'm going to wrap it up there. That is just the basics of what you can do with FINVIZ. There is so much, as you can see. And it gives you just a really good idea about a stock before you purchase it. I recommend everyone use it before you buy. I'm not sponsored by FINVIZ. It's literally just what I use every day. And it is free, which I love. You can make an account. You can set up your portfolio. You can get notifications from them. All that stuff, which can be really, really useful. And it's just a really good tool that I don't think a lot of people talk about. And we learn a lot about stocks from people on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, all social media. Stocks are big on social media, especially as we go back into this bull market. So, candlestick trading, every time I come on here, I feel like there's more and more that I learn, and doing a deep dive into FINVIZ can really help you move your stock research to the next level. If you want to look for a dividend stock that yields 9%, has year-over-year sales growth, good EPS, and a payout ratio below 70%, you can do that. FINVIZ is the way to do that. If you're saying, where do these people find these kind of stocks where they're, oh, this stock, it looks great, it has all this, how they find information? Screeners like FINVIZ. They give you all that information. Same thing with Seeking Alpha. I've never used their screener, but I'm sure that they have. I don't even know if they have one. If they do, I'm sure it has all this as well. FINVIZ is just the one that I've used, and it is free. So I'm going to end it there. If you guys are interested, if you're newer investors, seasoned investors, and you want to join the Discord, there's no paywall. If you guys want to go check that out, it's in the channel, my channel page. Totally free. We talk about all sorts of things. We've been talking about different finance books. I'm going to do a video on those soon. I'm reading a couple new ones right now. I'm almost done with a few, and there's just so much good information out there. If you want to get smarter and better with all things finance, all things money, books are the way to do it, as well as, using informational YouTube videos. So hopefully you guys found this enjoyable. If you did, like and subscribe. If you want to see more stock content and more research content, drop a comment below on the stock you want me to do a video on and the kind of research you want me to do. I will happily do all this research on a stock if you give me the ticker. And who knows, if I like it, maybe I'll even buy it. So as always, I appreciate you guys watching this far. Watch and like the next video. It really helps me out the most. I don't get paid for this, so that definitely helps me grow, and I really appreciate it. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.